Welcome back to another episode of Boxing Talk with Brian Mendoza. I'm Andrew Bocanegra. We have special guests today, Ramplin Ralph. We're going to cover Fight of the Year, our personal picks for Fight of the Year, Knockout of the Year. This ought to be a great episode. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about the feedback I'm going to get from these two boxing analysts here. Brian, Fight of the Year. Give me your pick and tell me why.
My pick, I'm really bouncing back and forth between two fights. It's the Eubank versus Ben fight.
Yes.
Yeah, the first fight. And then the Cruz versus Fierro fight. I think those are both, phenomenal fights. They just, have different, kind of aspects to them. With the Pitbull versus Fierro fight, it was so action-packed and just that typical Mexican, they're just swinging for the fences. They're trying to kill you, get you out of there, and really put on a show for the fans. And then the Eubank and Ben fight, it was super action-packed as well, but I just like the history behind it. Their dads were legends that fought each other back in their day, and that rivalry kept going through to the next generation. So it was super excited for me for that, and that's why I kind of go back and forth. But if I had to make a decision, I'd probably still lean towards the Eubank versus Ben fight. I have Eubank Ben as well. I thought it was just, again, like you mentioned, the history, just overall, it was just so much excitement, watching it. Every round was action-packed. That's what I have. Although Benavidez Morale for me was right there. I was sitting ringside. It was just an amazing fight. The level of competition, the technique, that was my pick. There were so many candidates this year, so many great fights. Ralph, who do you got?
Well, for me, a little bit more personal. I like the Inoue Cardenas fight because that was my first big time with Top Rank, being able to work with them. And in a way, it was his first time fighting in front of a major crowd here in the United States. Cardenas was kind of like the sacrificial lamb. Nobody gave him a chance, and he actually knocked down Inoue. So for me, I always like the little giants. We talked about this with Brian. I mean, when I was at his fight, I went crazy for him because of what he accomplished. It was phenomenal. And the same with Cardenas. I mean, he was not expected to do anything. He went in there, knocked down Inoue, and Inoue, of course, got more accustomed to it. Ended up having a TKO in the 8th round, but that fight was pretty phenomenal.
Bro, so what makes, just for the public, our viewers to understand, in your view, what makes Fight of the Year? What are things that you're, other than what you mentioned, other things that you're looking for that really stand out for you? Is it really that, knockout at the end? Is it more technique? What is it exactly?
It's just two fighters, and Brian can attest to this. I'm sure he's fought with fighters that didn't want to engage him, and he had to kind of go and find the fight. The Fight of the Year for me is two guys willing to just put everything on the line and just be there and be there for each other. They're perfect dance partners. One will exchange, and then another person will exchange, and you have multiple knockdowns. Like the Morale and Benavidez fight for me too, that was my number 2, only because they were both there. They were both willing to exchange, and they were both willing to put their lives on the line to come out of there victorious. So for me, that's very important that both guys have to match good. They have to be able to take each other's punches and be willing to throw back for the sake of themselves, family, and their fans. So,
what's your thought on that, Brian?
Likewise, I think that's a great point about you need the right dance partner, because a lot of times one guy might be trying to make the fight, the other one's just trying to move and maybe survive or get through the rounds or something. But the chemistry, when the right styles match up, that's what makes for a beautiful fight.
So, Knockout of the Year, right? So many. I went down the list. I just couldn't. I kept going back and forth. Hey, I this one, that one. There were just so many. What's important when we're talking about Knockout of the Year? Is it the fashion? Is it the fact that the opponent didn't get up? Is it the power? Is it the excitement that happened in the round? What makes Knockout of the Year, Brian?
For me, I like when there's high stakes behind it, because all year long you get maybe, I guess you could call them mismatches. There's things like that where you'll see one guy just go to sleep, just horrible, slumped over, these crazy knockouts. But sometimes it was supposed to happen or stuff like that. But for me, when it's maybe a big upset or there was just a lot on the line, undisputed or unifying titles or something like that at a high level, that's what kind of draws me more to appreciate the knockout even more.
What do you look for in Knockout of the Year?
A knockout of the year for me is where the guy is concussed. Like, the guy cannot not move, doesn't move, instantly to sleep, right? And for me, there was a lot of good, like the Opataya knockout a couple weeks ago was fantastic until last week where we had Marlington Harrington. He took on Brian Polanco on a Pro Box card and literally put this guy in Mimi land. And that, to me, was the most incredible. It's usually the ones that you don't see, right, Mendoza? Like you people get knocked down. They see the punch coming. They're able to absorb it a little bit more. These ones are like the knockouts of the year are usually when you don't see the punch coming, a la Pacquiao Marquez, a la Pacquiao Hatton. These knockouts were punches that the competitors didn't see, and those are usually ones that, especially when you fall face forward, those are the ones that are like, wow,
So Brian, a couple years back, and I don't know if it made knockout of the year. Unfortunately, I didn't do my research on that. When you knocked out Sebastian Fundora, was that knockout of the year? I mean, it was definitely candidate.
I got the WBC knockout of the year. Mm-hmm. They gave me a little plaque for it and everything, and yeah, that was but for the same reason, because it was also I won upset of the year from a few different sources. So that's kind of what makes it more exciting. Like I was like 8-1, 12-1 if you count the knockout, underdog in that fight. So in those times, when you can put someone out, and in the fashion like Ralph is saying, but just add some high stakes to it, some surprises to it, I think that's what makes it just that much more exciting.
Ralph, let's do it. Let's get straight to the point. So who do you have for knockout of the year 2025?
I had Marlon Harrington and against Brian Polanco on the Probax card like a couple of days ago. I mean, this guy literally got put to sleep standing up. When he got hit, he was already asleep before he hit the ground, and that was such an incredible shot. And the Opataya one, I really like that knockout too. But Opataya, like that was kind of like, that guy was like, again, like Brian says, it was expected in that fight. This fight was not. And to me, shouts out to Pro Box, they keep putting on cards that there was even a double knockout on that fight card. Yeah. So crazy things happening down there in Florida, man. So that's my knockout of the year.
Brian, who do you got?
So mine, just because of the high stakes aspect to it and everything, I like the Bam Rodriguez versus Fernando Martinez fight. That one was phenomenal. Just how Bam just made it look so easy. He was in there basically shadow boxing, playing around, doing whatever he wanted, and broke his opponent down. Someone that is a super durable opponent isn't known to be even getting tired in fights. He just goes from the first bell to the last. He's coming forward. He's trying to walk you down, break you down, and he got broken down and stopped in the fashion that he got stopped. That's what makes that more exciting. And Bam's doing all this at 25 years old.
Yes,
being unified, becoming undisputed, and just making history at such a young age. And then the stakes in that fight is what does that one for me.
That was my second choice. Right. I had Sebastian Juarez, DeMarcus Layton. It was not necessarily that high stake fight. It wasn't that Mimi fight as you mentioned, put him to sleep. But I think the overall excitement it took place October 18th. It was a small card. There was a lot of turnarounds. I mean, it kind of seemed like Ward Gotti, right? Single round. At the end, Sebastian just knocked him out in fashion. So exciting. Any last remarks on knockout of the year?
No, I did like that Sebastian Juarez fight a lot. It was a good comeback, even though it was just one round. He was able to, he was hurt. He was completely out of there, but the ref let him continue, and he used that opportunity and made the best of it, because a lot of people would have checked out, panicked, freaked out or something, and Juarez was able to stay calm and get the job done. So that was very exciting. But I think it was just a great year for a lot of knockouts. Whether it was high stakes or expected, they were still exciting. So as boxing fans, we all win in the end.
Ralph, what are your final thoughts?
Well, now that the boxing scene in Saudi is kind of changing and kind of taking a lot of the fights, expect more knockouts this year, when now that the promotional houses have to work together, as we're starting to see. You're going to see a lot more matchups that we wish we would have saw a couple years ago. Now they're going to come to fruition for the sake of U.S. boxing, so expect a lot more knockouts coming this year for sure.
Thanks for your feedback, guys. I appreciate it. Brian, Ralph, as always, appreciate it. Please follow us on all social media platforms, Boxing VIP Network. You can go to our website at boxingvip.com. You can listen to us on Apple and Spotify. Thank you for watching.